Hello? Hello?
ഹലോ.
സാർ
ആ ആ ആ
നമുക്കൊരു 1 മിനിറ്റ് കൂടെ കഴിഞ്ഞ് തുടങ്ങാം.
ശരി. അനൗസ കയറിയോ?
ഇല്ല, കയറിയിട്ടില്ല. നമുക്കൊരു
കേറിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
1 മിനിറ്റ് കൂടെ കഴിഞ്ഞ് തുടങ്ങാം.
ശരി. അനൗസ് പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു.
കയറിയിട്ടില്ലേ?
ആ
Hello. Welcome to the second day of the international seminar organized by Dr. Sudh Kumar Library and Research Center, Karakulam Gramina Padana Kendram and FSCT organizations. I invite our director, Dr. K.T. Srilata Kumari, to welcome speech for this seminar.
Good evening, everyone. Today, the second day of the international seminar series titled Reimagining Decentralization in Kerala, Local Governance for a Sustainable Future. Today's theme is Social Justice, a Right-Based Approach on Local Governance. Today's programs includes a background note presentation and response from eminent speakers. Today, the background Dr. U.P. Anil Kumar, Associate Professor from Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation, is presenting the background note. I welcome you, sir, in the seminar. Then, Sri R. Subramaniam IAS, former Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice, Government of India, has 37 years of experience in the field of rural development, tribal development, and poverty alleviation. He has also involved in the redesigning of MGNREG's program and introducing the IT tools in the government sector to improve the outcome. So, sir, I extend our warm welcome on behalf of the organizing committee. Professor P. Shiva Anandam, as a professor and now an honorary fellow, the Center for Development Studies. A warm welcome you, sir, to the seminar. Dr. K. Vijaykumar, former Professor of Community Medicine, Government Medical College, and the Secretary of in the Health Action by People organization. I would like to extend my warm welcome you, sir, in the seminar. Now, Sri Chandra Babu, Executive Director of National Institute of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, is also attending the meeting. I extend my warm welcome you, sir. I welcome Sri K. Shivakumar, Vice Chairman of this library, to the seminar. And I would like to extend our warm welcome to all the participants who have joined in the seminar. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you. Now, I invite Sri K. Shivakumar to moderate this day's seminar.
കേൾക്കാമോ? ഹലോ
കേൾക്കാം.
യെസ്, ആനോസ ഉണ്ടോ ഈ ഇത് സെമിനാർ? ആനോസ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Respected dignitaries and friends, this is the second day of the international seminar being organized by Dr. Sudh Kumar Library and Research Center. And we are having an organizing committee headed by Sri Anna Nagappan and Sri M.V. Shashidharan of General Secretary of FSCTO. And this seminar has 10 sessions. After having these 10 online seminars, we are planning to have a physical seminar or by inviting various panels. Yesterday, we had discussed about participatory planning and budgeting and their challenges. Today, we are discussing about, as Sri Radha said, social justice, a right-based approach in local governance. As you know, Kerala is leading in empowering local governments. As far as social justice is concerned, we are setting apart plan funds more than the share of SC/ST population in our state. Around half of these funds are going to local governments. That is one of the peculiarities of our devolution of funds. In this session, we are discussing these issues and challenges in the sector of deprived classes, as well as elderly and differently abled people. We are having, we like to discuss issues relating to trans people also. As Sri Radha said, we are having an eminent panel. Now I invite Dr. U.P. Anil Kumar, he is Assistant Professor in GIFT, to deliver the keynote presentation.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Good evening to all. Let me congratulate the organizers of this seminar, international seminar, that on the topic reimagining decentralization in Kerala. And among this theme, we are going to discuss 10 sub-themes. And among all these sub-themes, in my opinion, this session is the gem of all the sessions, because here today we are going to discuss the important topic, that social justice. Not only social justice, how we can ensure the social justice is being implemented in a right-based approach in the local governance level. I will share my presentation. So, my duty is to make set a context for presenting this topic, and eminent scholars like R. Subramanian IAS, then Professor P. Shivanandan, Dr. K. Vijayamar, Chandra Babu C, and Dr. Anil. So many, Shivamar sir, and so many other people are there, and they will elaborate. And in this topic, look, we have three main concepts. One is social justice. Second is right-based approach, and third is decentralized governance. How we can combine these three concepts? That is the first question. So we can combine these three concepts. First, when we combine these concepts in a conceptual level, when we are giving a conceptual linkages to these three concepts, first, social justice is our goal, and right-based approach is our means to achieve that goal. And decentralized governance provide a mechanism to achieve this right social justice. So, not only that, we can find out a linkages between these three, another two linkages too, because there is a moral and legal bridge between right, justice, and right. Justice is an abstract principle, a subjective principle. But right is not like that. Right is an enforceable entitlement. How we can bridge these two concepts, justice and rights. Not only that, then how we can connect rights with governance. That's an institutional bridge. That means merely right will not produce anything. Right should be meaningful, accessible, and accountable. How we can make these rights meaningful, accessible, and accountable, and how we can make it workable in the ground level. That means we have to develop a delivery mechanism too. And before coming to this topic, we must understand the importance of social justice in a broader level. So, in order to explain the importance of social justice, this one example is sufficient. Where India stands and where Indians stand. And Government of India declares that they are planning to make India a Viksit Bharat in 2047. That's a good thing, maybe. But where Indians stand, India is going to be the third biggest economy in the world. Now it stands in the 5th position. So in the onset, when India is going to become the third largest economy in the world, where actually Indians stand? This question we can examine through different development indicators. In the human development indicator shows that India is positioned in the 134th stand out of 193 countries. In the gender equality index 2022, India is in the 5th position and 8th position. So, in the World Happiness Report shows that India is in the third largest economy in the world. Global Hunger Index says that India is in the 111th. This question we can examine through different development. One says India is the human development indicator shows that India number 3 position in the 134th stand out of 193 countries. These two in the gender largest economy in the world. Global Hunger Index says that India is in the this question we can examine through different social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 124th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global Hunger Index says that India is in this question we can examine through social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 124th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global Hunger Index says that India is in this question we can examine through social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 126th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global Hunger Index says that India is in this question we can examine through social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 126th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global Hunger Index says that India is in this question we can examine through social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 126th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global Hunger Index says that India is in this question we can examine through social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 126th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global Hunger Index says that India is in this question we can examine through social economic census says the human development indicator shows that number 3 position in the 126th rural areas of India 193 countries. Global
This
Development framework given by Sen and a constitutional foundation given by Dr. Ambedkar. And coming to the Marxian viewpoint of social justice, so according to Marx, social justice is not a moral question, but it is a class question. According to him, justice is not a moral idea, but it is the reflection of material matters and modes of production. And he said the holders of existing power and property, they may define the justice. That means the bourgeoisie may define the justice. When bourgeoisie define the justice, they will define justice in the property dimension and in individual dimension. That means right to own property. And he said we have to convert this property dimension of right into a collective rights. Collective rights are essential. So that means, according to Marx, justice is a condition of life for the abolition of exploitation. We copied that model. We can see this model is what in our land reforms and cooperative movements. And regarding the local governance, too, we can make a Marxian lens, Marxian framework to see the local governance. According to Marx, he used this local governance not an administrative sector for decentralization power. It is an opportunity or means for transferring economic and political power to the working class, to the proletariat. So, in this democratic decentralization process, they will get an opportunity to control all the local resources and production processes. Not only that, in every local government system, there may be a class dynamics too. Caste, class, gender. So many variables may work there. So, in the real local governance, we should not allow the elite to capture power, but to the working class to capture and handle the power. That is also we can see in our people's campaign board. So the people from different status, from the lower level, the working class, they are handling power, not the elite group. And coming to the right-based approach. Coming to the right-based approach, right means what? Right is refers to a justified claim or an entitlement recognized and protected by society or law or the morality. So in India too, we have the developed the mechanism for right-based supply. For example, right to participation in the Gram Sabha, they have the right to participation. Right for social security through welfare programs, they have ensured that. Right for livelihood through employment generating program. That means right-based approach integrated human rights with their development aspirations and against discrimination, against slavery and against so many anti-social activities. And how we can see the rights-based approach in the Indian context and Kerala's experience. When we are seeing this right-based approach in the Indian context, Indian preamble of the Indian Constitution, fundamental rights, directive principle, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment, right-based legislation, Article 243 and G and W, we can see the glimpses of right-based approaches in the Indian Constitution. For example, preamble. In the preamble itself, we say that we, the people of India, are going to constitute a sovereign socialist democratic republic for what? To ensure all its citizens justice, social, economic and political. You are declaring in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. Subsequently, so many rights in the form of fundamental rights, Article 14 to 21, and then directive principle, in the directive principle, Article 38, welfare state principle, and 48, that special privilege to scheduled caste and tribes, so many are there. And not only that, Article 243 and G and W. So in the Constitution, specifically says about social justice. Article 243 G and W says that we can use local planning for social justice, local economic planning for social justice. Yes. The Indian Constitution itself guarantees a right-based approach. Coming to the Kerala context, that means Indian Constitution gives a vision and to practice right-based approaches for social justice. But coming to Kerala is a living laboratory for the right-based approach and social justice. It is not a vision or something. No, it's a living laboratory. So we have made so many experiments, such as decentralized governance, people's planning. Through the people's planning, we have made so many institutional mechanisms like effective Gram Sabha, social laddies, gender budgeting, human component plan, special component plan, tribal sub-plans, local economic development, the number one education and healthcare systems, welfare pensions, so many things we have done. That means Kerala is a living laboratory for the right-based approach of social justice. And now we are coming to the point. Now we are addressing the major 5 groups. How social justice is important to them. One group is, so not only these 5 groups, so many other groups are there. Is the elite group or power-holding group, those who think that such social groups are unfit for social protection, we consider them as socially excluded people and they are eligible to get social rights. For example, take the scheduled caste and tribes. Because still caste-based exclusion prevails. And subplan funds, some gaps are existing for its effective use. And then being convergent programs are there. Convergent programs, local government and union and state program. No effective convergence with 9 departments. So many issues are there. So scheduled caste, as far as scheduled caste and tribes are concerned, they are in need of right-based approach in social justice. So take the case of differently abled persons. They are still inaccessible to public infrastructure. In the case of the bus, there is no way to a differently abled person to enter without the help of others. And insufficient disability data-driven project. If we want to develop some data-driven projects, we don't have sufficient data with limited opportunities. Old age people, social isolation, they are not able to live a dignified life after 60s. In many cases, inadequate geriatric healthcare facilities, delayed pension services, as far as the transgenders are concerned, they are still hold some social stigmas, and gender neutral facilities are lacking, and inclusive policies are not inclusive to them. And regarding the fisher folk, they are continuously vulnerable to the climate change, sea erosion, and market exploitation is still prevails. As far as the fishermen women is concerned, they have no adequate social protection. So many issues are there that we will discuss it detail later. Look, now we are briefly going to discuss our 30 years experience and challenges. Despite all these factors, Kerala has successfully, we have from 1996 we have launched the decentralized governance program, and it has so many merits. For example, we have a very good inclusive decentralized planning framework. From the bottom to upper level, we have very good system, and that and another is effective implementation of SCP and GSP. For example, for our scheduled caste and tribal people, we have that Shivamas already stated that we are allocating plan funds more than the population percentage. Kerala is the only one state in India which still follows the plan, non-plan diversion and allocating plan funds in proportion to the population of the scheduled caste and tribes. And more than that, we have our own overseas scholarship schemes, commercial pilot training schemes, and private plus. More than Narendra, they give 100 days, and we are giving 200 days, and safe housing schemes, and apprenticeship and accredited engineer schemes. We are running MR, so many programs we are running. Not only that, for empowerment of the women, we have women component plan, and social audits are there, local audits are there, government systems are also there, and for social security, we are doing social security pension to more than 50 lakh persons, and we are giving institutional support to marginalized groups, and so civil society networks are so strengthened here, and improved awareness. People are more aware about their rights and entitlements, and our healthcare and education institutes are there, and democratic deepening process are there. Even in the ward level itself, not in the ward level, in the booth level itself, we can make the presence of the governance. So many experiences we have. But not only that, when the good things are there, we are also facing some challenges too. So even then, some exclusions are prevalent in the name of caste, class, gender. Exclusions are prevailing, and when we are utilizing funds, especially CP, special component tribal sub-plan, some ineffective deficiency is there, and misappropriation or underutilization, non-utilization issues are there, and then tokenism is prevailing. So, right-based approach, tokenism is prevailing, then limited convergence or coordination that I state, and emerging inequalities and climate vulnerabilities are there, and for the lack of support or for the evidence-based plan formulation, we are still leaking proper data, then dependence is there, and unequal access to justice is also there, and in some cases remedial mechanisms are not working effectively. Some bureaucratic processes are there, sometimes convert into bureaucratic feudalism. We can see in some other parts of the some other parts of Kerala, some issues are there, and within these issues we have to go forward. And when we are going forward, so we have going forward, we have to strengthen our grassroots institutions. So this kind of debates and discourses will help to approach the importance of social justice, importance of right-based approach, importance of strengthened grassroots institutions, and importance of social inclusion etc. And we have to integrate right-based planning with local government framework. So now we are accepting that right-based approach is essential, but to what extent we can incorporate right as an enablement in the scheme formulation, implementation and delivery system that we have to think, and database local planning, capacity building, strengthening of local and institutional frameworks for local justice. So many things we have to do for the body. So for concluding this session and as a background setting to introduce the questions of social justice and right-based approach in the local government level, I am going to conclude it. The social justice is the soul of social decentralization. It is the soul of social democracy. It is the soul of political democracy too, because without social democracy or political democracy cannot sustain, and social justice must move beyond welfare to transformation. So, Article 30 said that we have to build a welfare state, but from the welfare state, we are going to reality state, and we can say that the empowerment procedure is required. And then, right-based approach means now people are thinking that we are getting some benefits from the government or state, that we have to convert, they are getting their share, they are getting their entitlement. That's this is not a benefit, it's their share. And decentralization provides a platform to distribute and participatory governance. So Kerala is a champion and a living laboratory in this case, and not only that, in this reimagining decentralization process, we can make some lead questions also. So can social justice be achieved purely through legal enlightenment, or does it require social mobilization and consciousness rights? So can we enforce right-based approach only by the force of the state, or we should wisely, intelligently cultivate the justice mentality among the people to adopt social right-based approach as the natural consciousness? And then another is how do local cultural and social norms influence the success of right-based approach in Kerala? These types of questions we can ask. We can also think ourselves, introspect ourselves toward the examples from our local level. If we put forward the idea of social justice and right-based approach, where people will oppose or accept, or if oppose or accept, how we can promote it, all these things. So anyway, I appreciate the organization of this conference, and by providing me an opportunity to introduce this theme, I am also honored. And now this forum is open for further discussion and expert opinions from the Netherlands College. Thank you, sir.
Based BA leading approach, space approach in local governance. APPROACH.
Thank you, Dr.
APPROACH.
Now, Honorable Chief Subramanian, former IAS officer, former Secretary to Government of India, is a pioneering social justice, rural development, tribal development, etc. I invite Sri Subramanian IAS to deliver this speech.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Very impactful and detailed seminar extending over 10 days. This is the first time I am seeing such an extended seminar extending to 10 days. It really shows the commitment and the intellectual progress of the people who are organizing this. I really thank all of them. And Sudhir Kumar, on whose name was really a fortunate person to be remembered through such a detailed seminar. And
ആക്ച്വലി വിത്ത് കോഴ്സ് പഠനം ഗ്രാമീണ പഠന കേന്ദ്രം ടാഗ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് യൂട്യൂബിലേക്ക് റീഫ്രഷ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കാണാം. സാറ് ഇട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് ഗ്രാമീണ പഠന കേന്ദ്രത്തിൽ കാണല്ലേ ഇതിനകത്ത് കാണല്ലേ.
For a long time. It is historical and very proudly I know that they have set up social standards which are can be emulated by many other countries. And also Kerala has always of intellectual debate and expression of opinion. Today we are living in a era where expressing oneself is, people are so scared to say what you want to say. Kerala fortunately has been an island of intellectual freedom, intellectual debate, and I really hope that it will continue like that. Because there are still good examples to talk about. When there is gloom everywhere, you at least have some good examples to talk about, and I'm really proud of what Kerala has done and what Kerala is doing. Friends, you chose today to discuss about the social justice. No topic will be more relevant today
Obviously.
than discussing about social justice. Because everybody wants to talk about growth rates, profits, construction of roads.
ചെയ്യേണ്ട സാർ ക്രോസ് ബോർഡിന്റെ പേജ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്തു അതിനകത്ത് വരുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ.
Nobody wants to talk about the people who are left out of this particular growth path. I'm not saying growth path is not important. Growth path is important, and that's what takes the country forward. But you cannot have a country where some people walk far behind and the others are just running like a 100 meters ahead. You cannot have a country like that. If you have a country like that, then it really shows and the picture of course is seen in our Gini coefficient. Inequalities in the society is measured by what is the Gini coefficient. All of you know, those of you who have studied economics, social development would know. The Gini coefficient unfortunately has been worsening. Since the situation was much better when we got independence, although the country was in shambles. But Gini coefficient was not as bad as today. But today we have a very unstable Gini coefficient, a lot of concentration of learning. Dr. Anil Kumar has done a very good presentation showing all. So somebody needs to talk about the people who are left out of this. Left out of this glitter and glamour. And there are quite a few. Although our numbers, we keep saying that poverty has become 4%, 3%, 5%. We go down to the field and see that we see that situation is not great. Situation is not great at all in some states. Even in cases like Kerala, there are people who are left out of the developmental process. So the system has to recognize that and work the way
ഗ്രാമീണ വന്യത്തിന്റെ ഫേസ്ബുക്കിൽ പേജിൽ കയറണം
then I don't respect this society because that's a normal sort of human tendency. You just push others and then go forward. But that is not what we expect out of people. So today, talking about social justice, I'm very happy. I read this background note which is
മറ്റേത് കുറച്ച്
They become very well. And one thing that really stands out, we need to move from welfare approach to rights-based approach. That is actually in a welfare approach, you are giving. Okay, so do you think that you have all the power? So because people have voted to power, etc. So I give. So you are expecting the marginalized communities to be passive recipients. This I think is the base of the approach. The rights-based approach, fortunately, recognizes the marginalized individuals as equal players in the country's economy. So therefore, everybody has got equal rights. He also has got the same right. So therefore, this rights-based approach and then focusing on this is the best thing that you have done here in today's seminar. But to move from a welfare approach to a rights-based approach, where you actually recognize marginalized individuals as equals and then provide them equal rights. Having said this, friends, I take you back to 1985. 1985, this village name is Karamchedu. So some of you would know, people who have been associated with this. We have guaranteed equal rights to SCs in Constitution. We have passed all acts. Every act has been passed, right? Banning untouchability and then providing equal rights, providing reservations. All legal framework is all in place. 1985. In Karamchedu village is one of the villages in a fairly developed district of Andhra. Just you have had water from it's a one-sided map, and then burn all the houses. So, what happened since 1950 and 1985, 35 years, we have given all constitutional safeguards, rights, everything possible we have given. But what is happening in the field level? So, giving a legal right is not. So what happened was that politics has taken a complete different turn. They have realized that defending all the papers, documents, legislation is not necessary but not necessary.
is only a first step. It is 25% of the task. The 75% of the task depends on five things. Only a first step. That will decide whether your rights-based approach will succeed or not succeed. The first thing, friends, is that depends on five you need to collectivize. That will decide whether especially marginalized communities they lack that confidence. First thing, friends, is that depends on five you need to voice their rights. Especially marginalized communities they lack. Collectivization is one great instrument to pave their rights. The deficit of lack of confidence collectivization can be paved by people coming. Great instrument The best example for
Pave
this
the
is
difference,
there,
of
right?
course,
Not in the deficit of lack of collectivization is
movement
paved by people.
sort of a system is there. Will that work? In case of elderly, can we connectivize them? I'll come a little bit more detail about the elderly. But first step, friends, is connectivity. We are really serious about a rights-based approach. Try and get the marginalized communities into their own country. The second part is that collectivization is not sufficient. You have to build capacity. What does that mean? Capacity of what? Capacity of understanding their rights, capacity to organize themselves. I will just go back to your own. When
You have to facilitate. Let us be very clear that if you collectivized, you build capacities, okay. So it will happen automatically. No, it will not happen. Let us be very clear that you need to facilitate this. What do you mean by collectivized, you build capacities, okay. Again, I'm going back to. So it will happen automatically. No, it will not. You have built the capacity. Let us be very clear that you need to facilitate. But then what do you mean by collectivized, you build capacities, okay. Again, I'm going back to. So it will happen automatically. No, it will not. You have built the capacity. Let us be very clear that you need to facilitate. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built a capacity for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built a capacity for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. RBSN, now you have built similar facility for the Kerala and for it. But then what do you mean by collectivized, facilitation has happened. Again, I'm RBSN. So it will happen automatically. international punishment system for deviation international punishment system for 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 international punishment system empowering communities and then facilitation, technical facilitation and funding. These 5 things are important, friends. Without that, you will be talking. You can talk anything, intellectually you can talk anything, but it has to get translated to the field level, to the household, to the marginalized, to the marginalized person who has been struggling to exist. So, having said that, I will briefly mention about the elderly. I know I have taken a lot of time, but I will primarily tell you that very important segment that you have to focus on is elderly, especially for Kerala, because you have crossed 15% of people who are aged above 60 and above. Rest of the country is somewhere around 10%. Right? So you are in a different class. You are in a different league. So therefore you have to think differently. How do you prepare our entire planning process, local government, for taking care of the elders? Here again, these 5 principles will have to come in the way. That is, you have to collectivize, build capacities, providing community, building community support. These 5 principles have to be applied here also. So, providing when we were thinking about a policy for the elderly, we said 3 things. One is that when we were thinking about incorrect policy to say that all elders are veteran population. One is that when we were thinking about there are people who can actually contribute to say that all elders recognize elderly as a resource. One is that and not as there are people not as a burden can actually contribute to say that all elders what is elderly what is the resource? One is that and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. So what is what is the resource? One is and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. They have to so for example and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. They have to so for example and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. They have to so for example and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. They have to so for example and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. They have to so for example and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used. They have to so for example and not as there are patients they have time can actually contribute to say that all can be used.
I hope it is audible. Thank you. I will concentrate on issues of justice. I hope it is audible. Through decentralized hearings. I will concentrate on issues of justice. I hope it is audible. Through decentralized hearings. I will concentrate on issues of justice. I hope it is audible. Samples from these households to find out what is their present position from the SC, ST, and the fisherfolk communities. And I have written the report and submitted to the government. It is available in the mail. So that is the background. What I have found is that, especially two sections, they are socially marginalized in terms of the historical, persecution they have gone with, and the SCs and STs. And I have found during the decentralized planning period, especially, their problems were, of course, taken, and I have found local during the decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, taken, and I have found their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, taken, and I have found their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, taken, and I have found their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, taken, and I have found their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, and I have found their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course, their problems were decentralized planning period, and I have found during the decentralized planning period, their problems were, of course,
Thank you.
when we consider India, especially northern parts or some parts of India, we find that say not only widowed women, actually when the elderly population in whole general, especially women, they will be left out, and their grievances or their rights are actually being, all rights are being denied, not only the pension or maybe financial rights or maybe the health rights or even the right to express themselves. Concerning the right to information and education, digital inclusion is one of the major things that we have to look at in the Kerala context. Again, it is important in India, but in India, when you consider 60 plus, you'll find the illiteracy rate is so high, and maybe, but still, we need to have a different type of approach to bring in literacy, especially digital literacy, considering the telephone density in India today. It is something which we can think we have to have different approach to reach out to these sorts of people. Then right to justice and governance. Right to justice and governance means, we have got a policy. That's something positive that we have got. We have got an elderly policy. We have got a commission is there, council is there, and maybe panchayats are doing really good. But at the same time, the proportion of elderly in Kerala is around 22%. Most of the southern districts has got more than 20%. Maybe some of the northern districts has got less than that. What we have to find out is that the extent of money or the schemes that actually being charted out by the local governments is something like a stereotypic, not actually having an imagination. Maybe we should actually look forward to the emerging epidemics like maybe dementia, falls, loneliness, depression, sleeplessness, and all those, or maybe the CKDs, kidney failure, and all those. These sorts of issues needs to be actually discussed and debated at the state level to bring in novel programs and driven by the state, but it is lacking. While in the case of India, what we find is that the implementation gaps really huge, and maybe the Senior Citizen Act for Pan India level, it is something positive we should actually appreciate, but we don't have the efficient, maybe the type of decentralized governments in India, which actually brings in a lot of a gap in the service planning and delivery. Then right to live with dignity till the end of life, palliative care or maybe hospices, respite homes, maybe the caregivers. Somebody was actually mentioning about the absence of caregivers. We need to bring in some legislation as well to provide care. Everybody there, we have to bring in legislation to provide the caregivers adequately trained to provide and delivering quality service to the person in need. Similarly, the elderly care is now becoming an industry. In Kerala, you'll find that every district will have maybe at least 10 or 20 service providers, which is actually running in a industry type of, with an industry type of approach. We need to bring in some sort of a regulation over there for ensuring quality, ensuring privacy, ensuring the rights of the people who are there. So these are all the basic rights the elderly population is having. Then we should actually, considering the time, I'll just cut it short. We should actually bring in some sort of an environmental modification, basically because our physical environment itself, it's not barrier free. We need to ensure that all public ability dictating functional ability of the person, he or she should be in a position to move around. This is the environmental and infrastructure issues that you have to think of. Now I stop because we can discuss if time permits. So before I stop, I'll just highlight that the issues when we discuss about the justice and the rise of the people on more than 60 is the women, widowed women or even otherwise. They are a segment of population which is being actually oppressed. We don't see them. Many of them do not go out, and they are not visible also. But it is neglected. There's a high proportion of people over there which needs urgent attention from all sectors, whether in Kerala or in India. Thank you for your listening, and thank you for inviting me to this occasion. We'll discuss sometime later. Thank you. Juma?
Yes, yes. And thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Vijay Umar. Now we have one more speaker, Sri Chandra Babu, who is Executive Director of NPMBR, and he will deal with the differently abled issues.
Thank you, Shivakumar. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. You're audible.
Yeah. Shivakumar has done much thing for the empowerment of persons with disabilities. Well before the enactment of this Right of Persons with Disability Act in 2016. But having said this, there are a lot of issues regarding the planning and implementation of programs and development projects for persons with disabilities. The one is the lack of reliable data. The data in Kerala we already have taken in 2015. It is actually incomplete as the thing. So need to revise the data. Another things that we are implementing more a stereotype of programs and not approaching a holistic manner. There's only one uniformity is that we are providing disability pensions regularly. Apart from that, all other programs were designed and implemented for persons with disabilities is not in an organized or systematic way, addressing the real problem to solve the issues of persons with disabilities. So what are the problems? One, we have to identify all the persons having disabilities and very early age. Then only we can take measures to provide therapies or curative surgeries or other things to bring them back to mainstream life. One thing is early identification. So we need to have a much greater plan for early identification throughout Kerala. It will be done through all the local bodies. Then comes the issue of providing uniform, qualitative, therapeutic services. For that, we really lack facilities for that. We do have some bud schools, district early intervention centers, regional early intervention centers, and medical colleges, and of course NISH, NIPMAR, and ICONS. This is not enough. We need to have more therapy centers, preferably at least in community health centers. That's the another point I have to suggest. Then comes education for the person with disability. So there's a lack of facilities for qualitative special education. So every local body, basically the municipalities, panchayat, and must have this special education centers. I mean, all the local bodies must have, but schools for special education for all the children's need special education. Another matter is that they must be trained to face life. So there's a much need for empowerment in terms of providing skill training to take up employment. So there must be, we need more skill training centers for this our person with disabilities at every age of at least mainly after schooling age 18 plus for 18 plus people. Then another issue is that we don't have accessible space, accessible roads. The universal access, we must have program for providing universal accessibility in physical as well as other services. So for that, every department, every organization of the government must come together and solve this problem. Then finally, of course, at the end of the life care, as Dr. Vijaymas has said that, regarding persons, aged persons or persons with disabilities must have respect and they must be provided care for a dignified living as well as dignified death. Then my last point is that so far, our emphasis is for management of disabilities only. My point is that we must have a program for prevention of disabilities. This is a issue we need to discuss a lot. So we must have some plan for prevention of disabilities. There are so many ways that must also be discussed, and we must address these issues also. Regarding this, the local bodies are the right place for convergence of services for persons with disabilities, and the local bodies should be empowered to take up such programs in a holistic manner. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Thank you, Chandra. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are going to conclude our seminar. Since it is 9:30, we cannot go for anyone to speak. Those who can raise any views or questions, they can put it in our chat box as well as in our mail ID. Now, regarding this seminar, it was very useful and purposeful. In the beginning, Anil emphasized the need for a class review on the questions about the social justice. And in our enlightened speech, Sri Subramaniam emphasized the need for a collectivization, capacity building, facilitation, hand-holding, and community need for addressing these issues. And followed by Mr. Shivanandan, according to him, he made a very deep analysis of the marginalized people and brought out 3 books regarding the 25 years of the decentralization. And he put forward his suggestion that government attention need to be there to solve these issues. Regarding our elderly issues, Dr. Vijaykumar, he emphasized the discrimination being faced by the elderly women and the need for digital inclusion and right to live with dignity. And regarding the differently abled people, Sri Chandrababu, he emphasized the problems with the disability and universal accessibility. He emphasized the need for universal accessibility also. All speakers have brought in new ideas to our paper, and it will be deeply discussed in our concluding seminar, which will be held on by December 3rd week or first week of January, after the new local governments came into being. So I request Sri Vijay Nair to deliver.
Okay, sir. So may I conclude.
Please.
Yesterday's seminar is subject order.
Please.
Yesterday's seminar is localizing SDGs. So we request to participate to the next day seminar also. So thanks to all on behalf of Dr. Sudh Kumar Library and Gramina Padana Kendram and FSCT organizations. Thank you all.